We begin with a live look to Parliament Hill. It is a big day in Canadian politics, specifically for the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is about to face down his own caucus members this morning in a highly anticipated meeting. Some MPs are expected to confront the Prime Minister behind closed doors, asking him to step aside.
We often have different perspectives.
I'm comfortable with difficult conversations.
The Prime Minister says he doesn't think his leadership is in danger, and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland says she's more than confident that the majority of MPs support the Prime Minister. Justin Trudeau has been facing pressure to step down after 2 Liberal by-election losses earlier this year. Let's go to Parliament Hill now. CTV's Rachel Aiello is standing by with more for us. So, Rachel, how will this be presented today to the Prime Minister?
Good morning, Marcia. So we're not 100% sure how this is all going to shake out, but what we've learned so far is that a group of MPs are going to be pressing the Prime Minister directly about their concerns about his continued leadership. Now, is this going to be 3 MPs or 30? We don't know. There's been conversation about a letter circulating. Is it a letter? Is it a petition? What form of formal presentation is going to happen behind closed doors? We are not quite sure yet. We've been watching this unfold over the last couple of weeks and hearing different things from various MPs about how much they want to speak about publicly or how much they want to be able to just raise their concerns with the Prime Minister. They are hesitant, Marcia, about where the Liberals stand in the polls right now. Really no movement. They've been behind the Conservatives for more than a year now, and they want to hear from the Prime Minister what his plan is to turn things around and get them to a place of re-electability. So this meeting is going to be taking place just over my shoulder here on Parliament Hill around 10 a.m. So we're going to be starting to hear from some of those MPs as they trickle in quite soon.
So what are the Prime Minister's options here, Rachel, with this caucus revolt?
Well, I think that is going to depend on the size of it and what he hears today. When he was asked yesterday on his way into the cabinet meeting whether he was concerned about his leadership, if he thought it was in danger, he kind of just said no and kept walking. And we've seen that kind of response from the Prime Minister in the face of other leadership questions, kind of like stiff upper lip, not quite laugh it off, but brush it off and show that he is determined to stay. Now, if it is an overwhelming number of MPs coming forward today saying, hey, you really need to at least think about next steps, it will be interesting to hear how he replies. But I do think that based on what we were hearing yesterday from cabinet ministers and from Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, that she thinks the vast majority of MPs back the Prime Minister, this could end up being a thing where a few dissenting MPs air their grievances, have their voices heard. All Liberal MPs have been saying, you know, what's great about our caucus is everyone is free to express themselves. So it could just be kind of an airing of concerns and the Prime Minister is able to move on. But the timing of all of this, Marcia, is tight. This fall sitting has been pretty unstable. We could be into an election at any time. So if the Liberals were going to head into a leadership race, that would have to be a pretty tight timeline to get that turned around because the next election could come practically any time.
All right, and final question then for you this morning, Rachel, because I've been asking your colleagues in the Bureau every day, do we know who these caucus members are that are joining forces in this intervention, if you will? By the end of today, do you think we'll know publicly who they are?
I hope so. I would love to know all of them, Marcia, but the way these things kind of work, a lot of them have the feeling of what happens behind caucus closed doors are supposed to stay there. When they go into these meetings, they don't have their phones with them. There's minimal staff in the room trying to triage the amount of leaks. There have been a few Atlantic MPs, Sean Casey among them, to come out, speak to reporters over the last couple of days and say that they have signed a letter and they are in favor of the Prime Minister going. Whether we're going to get everyone to put their hands up today and say, yes, I think that too, we're going to have to watch and see.
All right, Rachel, thanks for all that. Rachel Aiello on Parliament for us this morning on Parliament Hill will be